Hello, friends. Today, we will be asking an important question. This is one of the most important questions you can ever ask, and the answer will change everything about how you walk with God, hear His voice, and experience true freedom. What is your spirit, and how is it different from your soul? Proverbs 20:27 says, "The spirit of man is the lamp of the Lord, searching all the inward parts." Your spirit is the deepest, most real part of you. Genesis 2:7 says, "It is the eternal core that was breathed by God." 1 Corinthians 6:17 says, "It's where God dwells when you're born again. It is the seat of communion with God, the place of divine revelation, the part of you that can never be satisfied by the world, the true you, made to reflect and host the Spirit of God." Does the Spirit think, feel, speak? Yes, but not like the soul. Let's compare. The function of soul and spirit. Thinks logic, memory, reasoning. Revelation, inner knowing, divine clarity. Feels emotions based on experience. Pure peace, joy, grief from God's heart. Speaks internal dialogue, self-talk. Deep convictions, impressions, communion focuses on self, others, survival God, truth, eternity, reacts with fear, confusion, pride, logic, faith, rest, boldness, fire. So yes, your spirit thinks, feels, and speaks, but in a different language than your soul. How to tell the difference? Spirit versus soul. Here are keys to discern the voice of your spirit versus your soul. The spirit is quiet but powerful, comes with peace, even in correction. Anchored in truth and the word, often comes as a deep knowing or inner impression, doesn't argue or panic, points to Jesus, not self. You feel it as a deep, stable conviction, not emotional hype. The soul was never designed to lead, and why it breaks when it tries. The soul is a servant, not a leader. The soul, mind, emotions, and will was created to follow the Spirit. It was meant to be a receiver, not a ruler, a mirror, not a master, a bridge, not a throne. The soul is like a lamp. It was made to hold and reflect the light of the Spirit inside it. But when the spirit is disconnected from God through sin, wounds, or neglect, the soul becomes leader by default. And that's where everything begins to fall apart. The soul was never built to handle leadership. Think about this. The mind wasn't created to carry pressure. It was made to interpret revelation. The emotions weren't made to lead decisions. They were made to feel what the Spirit discerns. The will wasn't made to drive your life. It was meant to agree with God's voice. When the Spirit is silent or pushed down, the soul gets lost. It becomes stressed trying to solve what only God can guide. It becomes anxious, trying to control what it's not equipped to rule. It becomes traumatized, carrying weight it was never meant to bear. It's like putting a child behind the wheel of a truck. It's not rebellion, it's collapse. This is where demons step in. Demons don't need to destroy you. They just need to cut off your spirit and tempt your soul to lead. Once the soul is in charge, demons agitate the emotions. They inflate the ego. They speak lies into the mind. They wear down the will until it gives in. And the soul, in its confusion, can't tell the difference between God's voice and the enemy's influence because it's not meant to lead alone. The healing. Restore the rightful leader. The only way the soul finds peace again is when the Spirit is restored to its rightful place as King and joined to the Holy Spirit. Why are you cast down, O my soul? Hope in God. Psalm 42:11. The spirit must rise and say, "Soul, you are not the ruler anymore. Be still. The Lord is speaking." Here's the divine order. The spirit receives from God. The soul aligns and expresses. The body obeys and reflects. This is the inner kingdom being restored. Signs the soul is out of place. If your spirit is not leading, your soul may show it through. Mental pressure or overthinking, emotional chaos or numbness, volatile willpower or passivity, fear of the unknown, constant busyness, distraction, or religious striving. These are not personality problems, they're positional problems. The soul is off the throne it was never meant to sit on. Your spirit is the place of union with God. It is the throne room He built to live in. It doesn't scream. It rules in peace. It doesn't strive. It knows. When your soul stops leading and your spirit rises in unity with the Holy Spirit, you become a walking sanctuary. Would you like a spirit versus soul comparison chart? A daily exercise to train your spirit? Or a guided activation to help you feel the difference right now? Our soul and flesh was created to live under the authority of our spirit. Our spirit was crested in union with God. Because we were born with a spirit that is disconnected from God, our soul and flesh are trying to lead. When we are born again, our spirit is retoured, and we need to brim our soul and flesh into obedience to the Spirit. This is why surrendered prayer, the Holy Spirit, and fasting are necessary. It's not just the soul fighting for control, the flesh is too. And together, they form a false alliance that fights against the Spirit. Let's go all the way in now, a battle of the inner thrones, restoring God's divine order. Spirit, soul, then flesh, God's original blueprint. You were created in perfect alignment. This is how Jesus lived. His spirit was in full union with the Father, his soul aligned, not my will, but yours. His body obeyed, even to the point of death. That's the divine order. When sin entered, everything flipped. Now the flesh, body appetites, and soul, self-driven will, take turns steering the life, and they often form an alliance. The soul, mind, emotions, will, wants control, craves significance, runs from pain, is afraid to fully surrender. The flesh, appetites, comfort, pride, wants pleasure, hates discipline, fights the Spirit's fire, wants to be God. Together, they say, we'll run this life. We don't need to fully surrender. This partnership creates anxiety addiction, religion without power, spiritual dullness, fleshly worship, and emotional hype. Why does surrender feels like death when you begin to surrender to the Spirit? Both your soul and flesh panic. The soul says, wait, who am I if I'm not in control? What if I lose myself? The flesh says, don't crucify me. Let's be comfortable. Let's keep that addiction. We're doing fine without all this fire. This is why. The mind floods with distraction. The emotions flare or go numb. The body feels restless or sleepy because you are dismantling the false throne room, and they know it. True restoration comes when the Spirit, joined with Holy Spirit, reclaims its God-given authority over the inner man. How? Crucify the flesh daily. Rom 8:13 says, put to death the deeds of the body. This means fast deny comfort. Stop feeding impulses. Surrender the soul. Deeply submit your will. Calm your emotions. Let go of understanding. Psalm 62 verse 5 says, be still, O my soul. Feed and strengthen the Spirit. Worship in spirit and truth. Meditate on the Word. Pray in tongues. Be still in His presence. Galatians 5:16 says, walk in the Spirit. and you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Final revelation. Your soul was never meant to lead. Your flesh was never meant to rule. They are not evil, but they must be submitted. Only your spirit, joined with the Holy Spirit, is fit to sit on the throne inside you. When spirit leads, soul becomes peaceful. Flesh becomes disciplined, and you become a temple, not a battlefield. Your soul is not broken. It's just out of position, and it will never be at peace until it surrenders to the leadership of a spirit fully connected to God. When your spirit leads again, the soul becomes calm, the mind becomes clear, the emotions become safe, the will becomes strong, and the body becomes obedient.